had no choice. They were unwilling to seek a peaceable amends. Fort Sumter ended that discussion.
And even though it was still on the edge of U.S. civilization at the time, Wisconsin felt the pull of the war.
You look real sharp, fellas.
Wisconsin had been a stepping-off point for Abe Lincoln's presidency, and when he put out a call for 75,000 Union soldiers in April of 1861, Wisconsin filled its volunteer quota immediately.
Wisconsin exceeded all of the numbers to be brought in, and those fellas knew how to fight.
Some of those regiments were just tossed in with 2 or 3 weeks of drill, so most of it here.
Here was Camp Randall. Named after Governor Alexander Randall, it became a military training ground on the site of the state fairgrounds in Madison. 90,000 men began their journey to war here.
70,000 of the 90,000 soldiers came through Camp Randall at one time. In other words, the regiments were formed here, they were given uniforms, they were fed, they started to drill.
But the demand for troops overwhelmed the need for training.
The 1st Regiment left here at Randall, went and fought in the Battle of Bull Run, and got shot up and had to run for it with the rest of the Army.
That 1st Regiment was the 2nd Wisconsin, which rose to military immortality as part of the Iron Brigade. But they gained notoriety before a shot was even fired.
They were the only Western brigade of infantry brigade in the Union, in the Eastern armies. So they were, everybody came down and looked at them because they thought all these Wisconsin guys were wild frontiersmen. They can be credited for winning the Battle of Gettysburg. They held up the Confederate advance for almost 6 hours, all by themselves, but they were destroyed. They went into the battle with 1,863 men, or roughly that number, and they came out with less than 500. Lucius Fairchild, lost his arm at Gettysburg with the 2nd Wisconsin, had his arm shot off.
Wisconsin's regiment of the Iron Brigade, the 2nd, had the highest percentage of losses of any Union regiment in the Civil War. Author-historian Lance Herdigan says soldiers continued to pour through Camp Randall, and at one point in 1862, about 1,200 Confederate troops were there when part of the facility became a temporary prisoner of war camp, a big development in Madison.
People were curious and came out and looked at them and did strange, that was a big pastime. On a Sunday afternoon, you went out and looked at the Confederate prisoners with your picnic lunch.
The POWs were held in Madison for less than a year, but more than 100 of them died and are buried in a special cemetery on Madison's west side. The South surrendered to the North in April of 1865, but it was a group of Wisconsin soldiers that brought the Civil War to its final end the next month. Wisconsin's 1st Cavalry captured Confederate President Jefferson Davis, who was on the run in Georgia. America's Civil War revealed Wisconsin's melting pot of immigrants and cultures in the military regiments that were formed.
The 17th Wisconsin was an Irish regiment and carried a green flag. The Irish 17th came to Madison on St. Patrick's Day and went on a 2-week spree right on the day they got here. And they took their flags away as a punishment, which is a big thing. So you had the 15th was a Scandinavian, Norwegian regiment, 100 Ole Olsons. They had to give them numbers, Ole Olson 1, Ole Olson 2, when they called the roll. We had the 9th German, who had, when they were at Madison, they had beer trucked in from not trucked in, but every day a daily shipment of beer from Milwaukee by train, because beer was spoiled in those days because it wasn't pasteurized. So they had this beer train coming in all the time.